I want to take you all on a little journey today. I want you to close your eyes. Well, don't close your eyes if you're driving. Driving and YouTube do not mix. Please keep your eyes on the road, but metaphorically close your eyes and transport your mind back to the mid to late 2000s. Your biggest worry in the world was getting your MySpace top 8 perfectly curated. You were wearing layered polo shirts for some reason, and your living room was entirely consumed by cheap, clicky plastic instruments. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're standing in front of a giant heavy tube TV, fiercely mashing colored buttons on a plastic guitar, sweating profusely while your friends watch you completely butcher the solo to Through the Fire and Flames on expert difficulty. The clack, clack, clack of the plastic strum bar echoing through the house, driving your parents absolutely insane. It was the golden era of rhythm games. We felt like rock gods. We were not rock gods, we were nerds in our socks, but it didn't matter because for 3.5 minutes at a time, we were selling out Wembley. Now, why am I taking you on this incredibly specific nostalgia trip? Because my friends, the dead, have risen. The plastic guitar renaissance is upon us. The original masterminds behind Guitar Hero, the legendary developers who literally defined a generation of gaming, have returned. The folks from RedOctane, now operating under the beautifully resurrected banner of RedOctane Games, have just dropped an absolute bombshell. They're releasing a brand new rhythm game called Stage Tour, and it is officially launching in fall 2026. Fall 2026, this year, we are getting a spiritual successor to the king of all rhythm games. I haven't been this excited since I found an unopened box of pizza rolls at the back of my freezer. This isn't just some indie knockoff trying to capitalize on our collective yearning for a simpler time. This is the real deal. RedOctane Games isn't playing around. They have secured the backing of actual literal Gibson. Yes, the Gibson, the guitar titans. They're throwing their massive weight behind Stage Tour. It is almost poetic when you think about it. We started out pretending to play Gibsons in our living rooms, and now Gibson is basically sponsoring our midlife crisis return to plastic shredding. So let's talk about the hardware, because that's what we really care about, right? The controller itself has had an absolute glow up. According to the developers, the new default controller looks incredibly slick, modeled after a Kramer, which is a brand owned by Gibson for all you guitar nerds out there. Here's the beautiful part, the part that brings a single tear of joy to my eye. It still has the classic colored buttons on the fretboard, and yes, it has the whammy bar. The legendary whammy bar is back. I can already feel my wrist cramping up just thinking about violently shaking that little piece of plastic to squeeze out extra star power. But RedOctane is also keeping things accessible. They've stated that Stage Tour will be completely versatile. If you want the full authentic experience, you get the new plastic guitar. But if you're living in a tiny apartment and don't have room to store a fake tour bus worth of gear, you can play the game with standard controllers and even keyboards, which honestly, playing a rhythm game on a computer keyboard sounds like an absolute nightmare of finger gymnastics, but hey, to each their own. PC Master Race, I guess. You guys enjoy your carpal tunnel. The game itself is aiming to be a massive evolution of the formula. The developers said they are raising the bar on what a rhythm game can be, introducing modern twists to the classic gameplay. Now, what does modern twists mean in the gaming industry today? Hopefully not a battle pass where I have to grind for 40 hours just to unlock a slightly different shade of flannel for my avatar. But knowing these developers, they are probably talking about deep charting systems and entirely new ways to interact with the music. Maybe stem separation tech. Imagine missing a note and just the bass track drops out seamlessly. The technology has evolved so much since the PS2 era, the possibilities for audio manipulation in real time are actually mind-blowing. And speaking of avatars, customization is apparently a massive focus. You aren't just picking pre-made rockers anymore. You get to build your entire band from the ground up, bringing together a bunch of different characters to create a lineup that feels totally unique to you. I'm already planning my band. I'm thinking a cyberpunk drummer, a classically trained cellist on bass who looks deeply annoyed to be there, and a lead singer who's just a guy in a business suit who looks like he just got off shift at accounting. We're going to be called the Tax Deductions, and we are going to rock your faces off. There's already rumors circulating of crazy avatar designs like vampiric rock stars wielding blue Les Pauls. The cosmetic potential is off the charts, and from a marketing perspective, it is absolute genius. Customization drives player retention. When you feel ownership over your weird little plastic band, you're going to keep coming back. But let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture, because from a gaming news and industry analysis standpoint, this is a fascinating move. Why now? Why bring back a genre that famously imploded under its own weight? If you remember the late 2000s, rhythm games didn't just fade away, they went supernova and then collapsed into a black hole. The market was completely oversaturated. We had Guitar Hero, Rock Band, DJ Hero, Band Hero, Rock Revolution, games dedicated entirely to single bands like Aerosmith, Metallica, and Van Halen. Every 6 months, you had to buy a new piece of plastic peripheral. It got to the point where thrift stores were basically built entirely out of discarded fake drum sets. Consumers experienced massive burnout. So bringing it back in 2026 is a massive gamble, but it is a calculated one. The nostalgia cycle usually operates on a 20-year loop. The kids who were 10 years old shredding on the PS2 are now 30 years old with disposable income and a desperate need to feel something again. That's me, by the way. I'm the target demographic. I'm ready to hand over my credit card to feel the rush of hitting a 500-note streak. Furthermore, the hardware landscape has changed. PC gaming via Steam is bigger than ever, which is exactly where Stage Tour is headed for its alpha tests and launch. They aren't relying entirely on massive retail shelf space for bulky instrument boxes right out of the gate. The distribution models of 2026 allow for a much smarter, leaner rollout. They can build a community online, test the waters, refine the beat maps, and scale up organically. It's a very modern approach to a very retro concept. Also, think about the music industry right now. The way artists break into the mainstream has completely shifted. Back in the day, Guitar Hero was actually a massive promotional tool for bands. It skyrocketed Dragon Force into being a household name. Seriously, without that game, power metal might have stayed a super niche subgenre in the States. Today, artists rely on viral TikToks or Spotify algorithm playlists. Stage Tour could position itself as the new frontier for music discovery. Imagine independent artists submitting their tracks to be charted in the game. You could have a whole indie circuit within the game giving massive exposure to underground bands. The marketing synergy between RedOctane Games, Gibson, and major record labels could be an absolute goldmine. But of course, as a gamer, my biggest question is just, am I still going to be any good at it? I used to be a beast. I could play on expert without even looking at the screen. I was practically Neo in the Matrix, just seeing the colored gems falling like green code. But let's be real, my reaction times have significantly degraded since 2007. I pull a muscle if I sleep on my neck wrong now. How is my wrist going to handle the bridge section of a 10-minute prog rock epic? I fully anticipate streaming this game, confidently telling chat that I've still got it, and immediately failing out on the first song on medium difficulty. The humiliation is going to be incredibly entertaining for all of you, I'm sure. And what about the set list? That is the make or break element of any rhythm game. They need to strike the perfect balance between absolute classic rock anthems, heavy metal face melters, and modern hits. I want to see everything from 80s hair metal to whatever Midwest emo revival is happening right now. Give me a 20-minute jam session track. Give me stupidly difficult novelty songs. The community charting aspect alone, they allow some sort of custom songs like some PC rhythm games do, will ensure this game lives forever. I really hope they nail the social aspect too. Couch co-op was the beating heart of this game. Having 3 friends over, arguing over who gets to play lead guitar, who has to swallow their pride and play bass, and who gets relegated to the microphone because they have zero hand-eye coordination, but can kinda hum in a key. Those are core memories. In a world where online multiplayer completely dominates the landscape, Stage Tour has the unique opportunity to bring back genuine localized party gaming. We're going to be keeping a very, very close eye on this one. As soon as those alpha tests go live on Steam, you know your boy Cyler Ray is going to be in there, clicking and clacking away, probably complaining about calibration lag because I refuse to admit my timing is just bad. It is a wild time to be a gamer, folks. We're getting new consoles, crazy VR advancements, and now we're going back to basics with plastic guitars. Time is a flat circle, and apparently it rocks. But I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. Are you hyped for the return of the plastic instrument rhythm game, or do you think the genre should have stayed buried in the thrift store bins of history? And more importantly, if you could guarantee one specific song is included in the Stage Tour launch set list, what is it? I need to know what tracks you all are desperate to furiously strum along to. If you made it this far into the video, you are an absolute legend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure you hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel out a ton with the algorithm overlords. Subscribe so you don't miss out on any future news, commentary, or my eventual live stream mental breakdown when I can't beat the final boss song of this game. Stay safe out there, keep gaming. Remember to stretch those wrists, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.